I recorded this in support of the government's directive that henceforth all members of the disciplined forces be recruited from NYS. The government has placed the percentage at 80%. I would have wished it to be more, but maybe, just maybe, the 20% is for the specialized unit. In disciplined forces, we have doctors, we have engineers, we have so and so. I think when the government said that they are placing at 80%, I think the 20% covers for those non-core jobs. It is not that the government is interfering with the duties of the National Police Service, no. The government has only, interference means coming up with a list of boys and girls whom they say recruit this or assist this. What is happening now is the powers of personnel in the National Police Service is still with the National Police Service Commission. The only thing that the government has directed the National Police Service Commission, is that they have told them that when you are going around the country recruiting people into disciplined forces, you will have to ask for an additional item. A proof that you are currently or a past trainee of the National Youth Service. To me, I would say that. But before I continue that, I wanted to give a brief history of the NYS. NYS was started in around 1964 with the two directors. There was the political director and there was the effective director. The political director was J.M. Karaoke, and the effective or active director was Major Retired Geoffrey Griffin, who at the same time worked as the director of Starehe Boys Center. All the time that Griffin worked at the Starehe Boys Center, he got no salary. His salary was at the NYS. So he used to work two jobs, but we used to be paid one job. I don't know whether we have such a civil servant today. This one was started as a way of youths serving the nation. They would work after undergoing a paramilitary course. They would do some work while training in what we today call TVET. And when they ended up, it was hard for them not to get a job because they had the discipline, they had recommendations from NYS, and employers rushed for them. They used to get no pay. They used to get no pay. They used to get a small allowance, which was divided into two. 60% they got, 40% would be kept, and when they left, they would be given the lump sum of the 40% that they got. I remember those I knew, they used to save their money with the post bank. The pocket money was just enough to buy detergent, soap, and toothpaste. We also have in other countries, but in Kenya we did not have, situation where when one wants to go to college or university, he or she would undertake a 2-year mandatory paramilitary course with that country. Kenya, we could not do that because we had only one university, and so it was being used by primary or Kenya Form 2, which was called Kenya Junior Secondary Examination level, as a basis of going through what we now call TVET. But it reached a place where university students used to riot. They used to riot and the university would be closed. So there was a lag of 1 year for university. That is, Form 6s you would complete in November, and somewhere in March you're already in the university. But because of riots in the university, the delays went there until you'd find that you complete your Form 6 in November, and in September you are still have not joined the university. So instead of idling at home, the government decided that Form 6s undergo NYS. We were to start the system in 1981 because I remember I did not fill the forms, but our classmates, because I was in Garissa, but our classmates who were near Bungoma went back to school and filled in the NYS forms. So the plan was for us to start, but we didn't. Then another class started. And the situation of waiting became so worse that during the August coup in 1982, the university participated a lot. It participated a lot to an extent that the drag was now not 1 year, but it was 2 years. So all students who are going to the university, apart from those with physical disabilities or ladies who are pregnant, all others would undergo a paramilitary course. It ended up that the first lot, President Moi was happy with them and gave them the uniform free as a present. Now, when they went to the university, they changed their style of rioting. They would put on, you would even think that it is a military parade, because they would put on the NYS uniform and march in the university. So the NYS thing was discontinued. If you, as I said, in all recruitment centers, it should be mandatory. Just like it is mandatory for you to produce your ID, the other thing should be you should produce either something that shows that you have already completed NYS course or you are still undergoing. If you look at the training of the NYS, since those days, you'll find that it is tougher than Kiganjo. It is tougher than Kiganjo. Kiganjo, there is no obstacle crossing. I would even say, unless somebody corrects me, I would even say that apart from weapon training, I do believe that NYS training is similar to basic, what we call infantry course at the KDF, and paramilitary courses at AP, GSU, Kenya Forest Service, and Kenya Wildlife Services. Kiganjo, you never go for obstacle crossing. Kiganjo, you don't cross a river that is muddy. Kiganjo, you don't do those things, are done at NYS. So you find that apart from things like weapon training and law, you'll find that NYS course is harder than Kiganjo. Kiganjo, you go, you spend a lot of time in class trying to cram that a certain case falls under this section and whatever. Kiganjo is more of a paralegal school. So, in my view, anybody who has attended an NYS course would mean that instead of the current 9 months that recruits do undergo, but you know, even if it is 9 months and you already are an NYS graduate, you will still undergo 9. But if it is strictly all the classes are NYS graduates, going to a place like Kiganjo. I'm talking of Kiganjo because I've never been to APTC, I've just been to Kiganjo and GSU training school. In my belief that an NYS graduate, when he or she goes to Kiganjo or even GSU training school, instead of taking the normal period, they are capable of taking half that period in training. So you find that subject to funds, we could have double intake, or even if we don't have double intake, it means that the recruits would now spend lesser time in Kiganjo or even GSU training school. They know all the drills. You have seen them performing during national occasion. They do perform drills with other disciplined forces. The only thing that they'll have different from is sharpening up a bit, and also including arm drills. Arm drills, you know, there they use the spades, the parkour, but when they join the police or other thing, now they'll be used to a drill that uses firearms or rifles. And as I've said, they will now have additional training in law and also other things like how to PPPT. That is police practical theory, police practical faculty, such things. They have to be taught at Fundisho police station. So those are the things that will make them better police officers. Previously, such a thing had been happening, and we have to learn from the previous experience. We have to learn from the previous experience. If you look at the police officers, on their chest there is a number which is called force number. We used to have policemen who were in 28 dash dash dash. We call it detail number 28. Now detail number 28 was taken away from the NYS. When they were taken away from NYS, they ended up, most of them never completed even 5 years. I think that thing has got to be looked into, and most of the NYS, ex-NYS who have joined the police, usually they have a higher IQ, and you'll find that most crimes are committed by those, or in disciplined cases, they can only be overtaken by sons and daughters of prominent people. We have to look into that, but even if it is so, we have to not to discard that system, but we have to improve on it, such that this one will now be a purely NYS team, and they'll be such trained and they'll be such drilled to an extent that they can make good police officers or good military officers or even good rangers. And with that, my viewer is it's a long story, but I've tried as much as possible to reduce it because it is something that can take twice what I have recorded. Thank you.